All right. See a couple people join us already on YouTube. We'll be getting started here in just a moment. We are going to play the game through Facebook, just so you know, but we are broadcasting it through YouTube as well, so you can kind of play along on your own. And I wanted to start it a few minutes early, a few minutes early there, just to make sure that it was working, and it appears to be. If you don't have audio, let me know. Not that you could hear me say that, but I'm assuming if you see my lips moving and know you're supposed to be hearing something and don't, then will let me know from there. Alright, let me see here. Alright, we should be live on Facebook too, or as well. Alright. I'm hoping this works. I tried to learn a lesson last week from what went wrong. So now I'm just going to take a moment to kind of look at some responses here and see if anybody's telling me they cannot hear me. So let's see if we've got audio working correctly. Looks like the video is working. Alright, I see Christy and Carol are on. Apologize if I don't see anyone else this morning. I could only see a few people for some reason. Miss Judy, if you're there, I didn't see you this morning until after the broadcast was over. So hello, I hope you're there this evening as well. Let me do this, see if this will tell me if anyone is... Okay, I gotta stop that for a second. Alright. Not seeing any comments there. No audio. Okay, that's what I was worried about. Trying to make sure I had the audio working, and it's not. Alright, hang on a second. So if you're on YouTube, you're hearing the audio. So if you will, hold with me if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you're not getting the audio. So let me figure out what's going on here. All right, it was a simple little fix, I believe. Now I just got to wait for the lag to end so I can find out if people on Facebook can hear me yet. Alright. I have no idea who, if anyone, is watching Facebook at this moment. So, alright, I see we have 2 on YouTube. And, okay, 5. So we have people there. Getting any audio yet? Okay. So, now that we have audio working for both Facebook and YouTube, those that are on Facebook, you can participate in the poll. Unfortunately, those that are on YouTube can't. You can just yell it at me and pretend that I can hear the answer. But I wanted to find out today, I really need, what fits you best? What you say, today I really need. I gave you a couple options there. More coffee, a nap, chocolate, a hug, some peace and quiet, or maybe a vacation. Oh, people already voted. Okay. So already some people saying I need a vacation. Need a getaway. But what fits you today? If you say today I need, what fits you best? All right. Take me just a second here. thought I could pull this up on my phone and see who's commenting. Make sure I turn that down. Okay, all right. So now, yeah, there's lots of comments. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know how it's going. If I had this out, I would have known. All right. So yeah, chocolate's making a comeback here in the voting poll. So, all right. All right. So I think we got things going here. We're gonna jump right into the trivia game. But I don't want to give time for people to vote. So yeah, we got 1 needs a nap, 2 need chocolate, 2 need a vacation. I can relate with that as well. And you can feel free to put in whatever else may apply, but it won't show up in the poll unless it's one of those. So I tried to cover as many as I could. But all right, well, let me get this ready here. I gotta turn the trivia game on. And oops, not that. And hopefully here soon you'll see the live trivia game starting in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Last week during our Sunday morning we used the book of Micah as our text, where it talks about what God expects of us. And he said to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. As I was thinking about Micah in particular, there's a lot of jewels of wisdom, a lot of wonderful verses that can be found in the minor prophets. And so I thought, it'd be kind of fun. I talk about the minor prophets from time to time on Sunday evenings. So those that have been a part of our Sunday Funday for a while, hopefully some of these will be kind of refreshers. Some won't, because we haven't covered all the books there. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to do some trivia about the minor prophets. So I expect this to be a little bit more difficult, unless you happen to have studied the minor prophets in particular. These can get kind of challenging because who did what, who said what. But hopefully it'll be a little bit of fun for you too. So that's what we're going to do. Here in about 40 seconds, we're going to do a trivia. Those that are on Facebook, you can play along by typing into the comments, the answer that you think is correct. Those that are on YouTube, you can just guess and see how you compare to those that are playing on Facebook. Getting a little tongue-tied here. And so we'll just go with that and hopefully have some fun here talking about the minor prophets. All right, double checking everything there before we get going. Question number 1 should be coming up. I'm not going to tell you too much about the minor prophets till we get into it, because I don't give away any answers accidentally, because I sometimes forget what the questions are. All right. Oh, it got to starting at 0 and then it started back at 11, so you have 11 more seconds than I thought. I guess the game decided we needed more time. I could tell that I wasn't quite on my game tonight. All right, first question. How many books make up the minor prophets of the Old Testament? This was one reason I didn't want to tell you what they were, because I didn't want to give away answers, and I would have if I'd tried to list them off. But how many books make up that category of the Bible that we refer to as the minor prophets? It's in the Old Testament. And so how many books make up those? Some people often ask why are they called minor prophets? And the answer is pretty simple. It's just because they're not as long in volume and size as the major prophets. So it's not meant to be a disparaging term to call them minor prophets. They were just grouped together because their length of their text are considerably smaller than some of the major prophets, which I won't name yet because I don't want to throw you off if you're trying to guess which ones are which at this point. All right, time to get the answers. How many books make up the minor prophets of the Old Testament? And now I can tell you, because I think the voting is probably already cut off for everybody. The longer ones, when you think about the major prophets, you think about books like the book of Daniel, Isaiah. Those are really long volumes. The minor prophets are the ones that are much shorter. The Micahs, the Joel, Amos, Obadiah, all of those. I think Zechariah and Zephaniah can be a little bit long there, but they're still pretty short compared to Isaiah or Jeremiah or Daniel. All right, Katie and William, good job. Got it right. You didn't vote?
Well,
Christy's in here with me, helping me troubleshoot sound problems, and
It said comment the number and the answer, so I was messaging Katie to comment the number and the answer, but I guess it doesn't matter.
All right, next question. Yes, it doesn't matter. They recommend you don't just put the number, because sometimes Facebook will call that a spam, think it's spam, and not put your comment in there. But you can just do the answer or the number or both. So anyway, the prophet Haggai comes on the scene in the second year of King Darius to encourage people to finish an uncompleted project. What is it he's wanting the people to do? This is one where you may want to use the numbers. So Haggai comes on. He's saying, encouraging the people, saying, we need to finish something you started. What was the something that they started that he's encouraging them to do? And answers there probably already coming in. Finish the temple, finish destroying the enemies of God, finish rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, or finish tearing down the idols in the land. Which of those do you think Haggai was encouraging the people to do? All right, time to gather answers. And there was a hint in there being the second year of King Darius. That should have helped you narrow it down to at least two of these, between the walls and the temple. And then from there, you had to kind of just think, okay, which one was Haggai talking about? Was it when they were rebuilding the walls, or was it when they were rebuilding the temple? And the answer is rebuilding the temple. Okay, I'm not getting any results. It must be glitching out on us. So either that or no one answered that question. So I'm guessing it's probably a glitch. So I have no idea if anybody got that one right. I don't have the Facebook comments up here. But next question. This sycamore fig farmer warned the people of his day about their complacency, pride, and apathy. He uses visions of locusts, fire, and a plumb line in his message. Who was this prophet? So was it Malachi, Amos, Zephaniah, or Zechariah? He's a sycamore fig farmer, and he warned the people about complacency, about pride, about apathy. And some of the visions he uses are of locusts, fire, a plumb line in his writings. So I'd encourage you to go and get your votes in as quickly as possible, because I'm guessing the lag may be catching some people. If you wait too long to get your answer in, and it starts doing its little tally thing, it's probably cutting people off. So hopefully these shorter answers will be a lot easier to get in, if that was in case of the problem. All right. Let's see what everybody put for this answer. Correct answer is, oops, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to give it away too early. The key here, in my opinion, was the thing about a plumb line. That would have been what would help me get this, because that's one of the key messages in there, is when there's the Lord standing there with a plumb line in his hand. He says he's gonna come in and check his people and see if they're on the right way, and he's gonna judge them. Basically, is what he's saying. There's a way that a plumb line tells you if something is accurate or not. All right, Amos, Katie got it right. Christy and Carol went with Zechariah. Okay, good guess there. So, all right. So, yeah, this is proving as hard as I thought it would be. Tech challenges and all. Next question. Hosea was told by God to find, quote, an adulterous wife. Whom did he marry? Hosea is a beautiful picture in Scripture of God's love for his people. And he tells Hosea to go and to marry an unfaithful woman. And he's given Israel the picture there of how he has brought them in, and they have turned away from him. And so what was the name of the woman that he went to marry that is featured throughout the book of Hosea? Was it Maria, Pharez, Orpah, or Gomer? All right, answers coming up shortly. So, wait and see what everybody guessed. Hopefully everybody got their answers in time. computing answers. There's a lot of passages in Hosea that are really convicting of us when we think about our faithfulness to God and how He's done so much for us and how He keeps coming back and forgiving our sins. And all right, those that answered got it right. Gomer, Carol, and Christy, good job. I'm sure others answered, but didn't get it in time, maybe. But didn't trick anybody with that question. So yes, Hosea married Gomer, and God used that as a picture to Israel of their unfaithfulness to Him. All right, which prophet is said to have prophesied the place where Jesus would be born? So which of these prophets made a prophecy about Jesus' birthplace? Was it Amos, Malachi, Micah, or Obadiah? Well, one thing you find a lot of in the minor prophets is glimpses of the coming Messiah, of things about him, and one of those is a mention there that people look back and realize that, oh, he was actually telling us where the Messiah would be born. And who did that? Amos, Malachi, Micah, or Obadiah? All right, time is up. Hope you got your answer in time. Computing our answers here, seeing who guessed what. Hopefully everybody got it in time. I'm still wondering, since we're missing a few people, if the system's not catching every answer. That's another reason to try to guess quickly. I know sometimes it may be a guessing game. You're trying to go, oh, which one do I want to go with? But the sooner you get your answer in, the more likely it is to catch your answer in this system. All right. Only one answer got collected on that one, and it was a good guess, Malachi. The answer did start with an M. It was Micah, same book we were in last Sunday, and Micah prophesies that Bethlehem would be the birthplace of the Messiah. So, all right, next question. It goes by quickly once it shows us the answers. Question 6, why did the great fish swallow Jonah? Why did the great fish swallow Jonah? He refused to get married. He didn't like traveling. He refused to go to Nineveh. He refused to go to Tarshish. I would probably just put in the number on this one so you can vote a little quicker. But why did the great fish swallow Jonah? You notice that the question's worded great fish because that's what the terminology there is in the book of Jonah, is this the great fish swallowed him. So some people ask, well, why do we say it was a whale? Jonah and the whale is what we've always heard all our life, right? Well, when Jesus refers to the story of Jonah in the New Testament, the word that's used there when he talks about him being swallowed is the word that was more specific to a whale type of animal. So that's why we use the word whale. Even though in the book of Jonah, it doesn't use a word that is specific to that. Jesus did use a word that was a little more specific to fish, to a whale or a large type of animal, like large fish like that. And obviously, if he's getting swallowed, it makes sense it would be something large. But all right, so we're going to write at least these 60 seconds, so I guess 45 seconds are going by really quick. All right, so did everybody get the right answer on this one? Barely have time to talk through between these. I need to look. I thought I changed it to 60 seconds, but I may have left it at 45. That may be why some of these answers are getting cut off and not tallied. It's a good thing our winner only gets bragging rights, because otherwise there might be some disagreements. Oh, everybody knows this one. All right, and we got all the answers in. All right, so it's hard for me to tell exactly what it is. Carol, oh hey Bridget, Christy, and William. All right, so good. We got some more answers in this time. Question 7. So we got 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 more questions left. Who prophesied? Remember, minor prophets. Who prophesied the ultimate destruction of Nineveh? So who prophesied the ultimate destruction of Nineveh? We talked about Nineveh, obviously there with the story of Jonah. But we know that when Jonah went to Nineveh, they repented and changed, and God spared them. But unfortunately, like too many of us, they kind of drifted back into their old ways and turned away from God. And a prophet came and told Nineveh that they were going to be destroyed and punished for their turning away from God. Was that Joel, Hosea, Obadiah, or Nahum? Who prophesied the ultimate destruction of Nineveh? Nineveh being a key city there in that part of the world. All right. We'll see if we get these answers in time. Not much more I can say about this one without giving anything away. So we'll go to the tallying our answers. Joel, Hosea, Obadiah, or Nahum. What did everyone choose? I was trying to check the phone, see if I can see any comments there. My problem is when I'm looking here, I can't see the comments. I looked down on my phone, I need my glasses, so it doesn't really help me much. All right, Christy got that one right. You have to tell us, Christy, if that was a guess, a Google, or if you just happen to know that one. Carolyn Will went opposite directions, Hosea and Joel. But yeah, Nahum is the one who prophesied that Nineveh would be destroyed. All right, question 8. Coming right up, which prophet complains to God about unpunished evil in his world and about God using wicked nations to punish nations which are not as wicked? It's a long question. Hopefully it'll be quick answers here. But this prophet complained to God, saying, look at all the unevil, all the evil that's unpunished. Evil that's unpunished, not unevil. Evil that's unpunished. And look how you're using wicked nations to punish your own people. And was that Habakkuk, Amos, Zechariah, or Zephaniah? And, God did use other nations to punish Israel from time to time. We saw the Assyrians were used to come in and take the northern part of Israel, the part called Israel, northern kingdom, away into captivity. And then the Babylonians were used to come in and take away the southern kingdom. And Habakkuk saying, why would you use an evil nation to punish us? Seems like a fair question, doesn't it? God basically tells him that I'm going to do a work that even if someone told you it was going to happen, you wouldn't believe it would happen. And basically says, I've got things I'm doing, and you can't understand at this point what it is that I'm working on. And so Habakkuk's a very interesting prophet there, because he really kind of stands up to God and says, I don't know, I don't see what you're doing here. And plenty of us feel that way from time to time. All right, looking at the computing the answers, do we have all right, Carol got it right. Good job. I got to do a different background next time. I'm having trouble seeing those names. All right, Christy went with Amos, and Will and Bridget, I believe, went with Zechariah. All right, so good job. All right, question 9. I only have 2 questions left. This is flying by. I have no idea who's in the lead. The prophet Joel is quoted by which apostle in the 2nd chapter of Acts on the day of Pentecost? Was that Paul, Peter, John, or Andrew? If you've been following along in our series on the book of Acts, you should know this one. Prophet Joel is quoted there on the day of Pentecost. And who did that? Who was speaking there at the day of Pentecost when they quoted the prophet Joel, talking about how God was going to work? And so was that Paul, Peter, John, or Andrew? Probably a good time to put in a plug for our daily devotional. Monday through Saturday, every morning we have a devotional post. We're just kind of walking our way through the book of Acts. We're up to, I think we just finished chapter 15 yesterday. So we're making our way through. Still got a ways to go, but it's a lot of fun. If you want to join us, Facebook or YouTube, you can catch those videos each morning. All right, let's find out who voted for whom. Paul, Peter, John, or Andrew? Must be putting in a lot of answers. It's taking a while to compute them. So are you sure you're all spelling them correctly? Because maybe it's trying to look them up and go, what are they trying to guess? My mom was a school teacher, so I know what that's like when you look at the answer and go, what are they trying to say here? Miss Bridget, you've probably seen plenty of that too as well. Ooh, okay, got everybody with that one. All right. John is incorrect. Peter is the one who stood up at the day of Pentecost and preached to everyone there. He quotes prophet Joel in showing what God is doing there at Pentecost. And all right, last question. Obadiah's prophecy centers around a feud between what two nations? So Obadiah is obviously one of the books of the minor prophets, and he issues a prophecy talking about this conflict between two nations. Or there's that Israel and Edom, Moab and Judah, Israel and Judah, or Babylon and Israel. So what two nations is the feud centered around that Obadiah is writing about? I guess probably a good time to quote the minor prophets so we know who we're talking about here. Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Those are the minor prophets. Basically, when you get to Daniel, everything after Daniel until you get to the New Testament is the minor prophets. I didn't mention that at the beginning because I didn't want to mess up any of the answers along the way, but those are the minor prophets, the 12 books that make them up. All right, so answers for Obadiah's prophecy. See if anyone knew this or everyone knew this. This one to me would be a hard one. If you've never looked at the book of Obadiah, this one probably is not one that would just jump out at you. And it's having to compute, so it is. It's working hard. All right, Israel and Judah. That's kind of what I expected most people would put, and I can't really tell who. Oh, Carolyn William put that. Okay, others didn't get theirs in time, I guess. That's what I kind of expected, but Israel and Edom are the two, the countries there. Edom found an opportune time to attack Israel and said, hey, let's take advantage of the fact that other countries are trying to attack them, and they were condemned there in Obadiah. All right, winners. So Carol and Christy tied for first, but Carol, you get the top spot there, and by the computer decided you get that one by yourself. Katie got 2. Will, you get stuck as other players even though you had 2 as well, so you get 4th place. And Bridget, glad you joined. I think you joined late, but you only got one of your answers in there. But good job, everybody. I know we have a couple people on the YouTube as well. Feel free to comment. Let me know how you did, if you were guessing along as well. But yeah, the minor prophets are really an interesting part of the Bible, an interesting passage. Excuse me, trying to pull something up here. And there's so much to be learned from the minor prophets. And as I was trying to think about wrapping this game up with us looking at all the different passages, one thing that came to mind was really to just pull a passage from the book of Micah, since that's what we looked at last week. And by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but in the year 2000, Micah became one of the most popular names here in the U.S. I don't know why that was, but I found that just in my random digging around. But in Micah chapter 7, he has this to say. He says, "Who is a God like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity, and passes by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Thou wilt perform the truth to Jacob, and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old." So after Micah has pronounced judgment and the things that are happening because of the people's sin, he stops and he says, but you know, this isn't all bad, not because we haven't done anything wrong. They had. Not because the punishment wasn't going to be bad. It was. But because God is still good. And that's what he was saying to them. He says, who is like our God that pardons iniquity? That yes, they were going to have to pay the price for what they had done. They were going to have to suffer consequences for their sin. But God was going to give them pardon. He was going to forgive their sins. We know that through sending the Messiah, Jesus, to die on the cross for their sins as well as for ours. And he says he will turn again, have compassion on us, and cast all their sins to the depths of the sea. Isn't that a beautiful passage to know that's the God we serve? One that, yes, we may mess up, we may make mistakes, but he will forgive us for everything we do. And we know in the New Testament, 1 John 1:9, he says, we confess our sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. He's willing to forgive us for anything that we do, and that's the beauty of the God that we serve. So hopefully this week you have a great week. If you struggle, if you start getting down, pull out Micah 7, go look and say, you know what? This is the God that I'm serving. This is a God that's watching over me. He's a God that loves mercy. He's a God that forgives. and he's a guy that has compassion. So hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.